All right, folks, what's up? This is Michael. How's everybody doing for a brand new 2023 year? Oh, yeah. Happy New Year, folks, on the graveyard shift. Wee hours of the night with your daily trivia question. Yet, once again, getting some feedback issues kind of taken care of, or trying to at least. But anyways, I hope your New Year's is going well so far, and we got a brand new week ahead with the brand new year. It's only Monday, folks. Let's get right to it. The answer to the previous trivia question was none other than the NFL football play known as the drop kick. I threw a little drop kick Murphys in there as a clue. So anyways, the football drop kick occurs when a player kicks a dropped ball as it hits the ground, or as it is in the air bouncing upward after hitting the ground. It's really kind of a simple type of a thing, but it has to be done and pulled off and executed with perfection of sorts, right? So the risk there, as you can imagine, is if the drop isn't executed well and the bounce goes wrong and in unintended directions, right? In other words, in the hands of the other team, the risk was mitigated or completely eliminated in modern day football by the use of a placeholder, a tee, or a good old-fashioned punt, which of course doesn't touch the ground and is more directed, right? Which proved to be more accurate, of course, than a drop kick. However, the drop kick is still permitted to this day, and I'll get to that a little later. Now, although the drop kicks are extremely rare today at the top level of football in the United States, back in the day, they were very popular. In fact, attempt rates were so high that drop kicks, at one point, way back when, had their own category in the record books. A lot of this had to do with the fact that the footballs back then were in no way, shape, or form what they are now. They had more rounded ends, and it was easier, of course, to bounce off the ground. I've got a picture of there, some of the progress of the way footballs have been. And look at some of these. Some of these things were shaped like basketballs, folks, back in the day, right? So they were easier to bounce off the ground, and the drop kick was easier to execute. This was like in the 20s, right? And football stat experts will recognize the name like Patty Driscoll, Jim Thorpe. Jim Thorpe, okay, I've heard of Jim Thorpe before, but he also surfaced in my research. These guys attempted drop kicks regularly during football games. Driscoll, in particular, holds the record for a successful drop kick at 50 yards. Can you imagine that? A 50-yard drop kick. The last successful field goal that was the result of a drop kick occurred in 1941, around World War II times. And then, however, some many odd years later in 2006, Doug Flutie, now this was, of course, the focus of the trivia question, Doug Flutie, who completely on a whim decided to try a drop kick against the Miami Dolphins in the fourth quarter during what wound up being the very last play of his professional career. And that's a pretty cool way to go out, folks. There's plenty of YouTube coverage of this. And it was executed perfectly by Flutie. Apparently, when you're doing a drop kick, part of the key is to just get it as it just bounces off the ground. If it bounces too high, then you, of course, your result is not going to be an accurate kick, or it's going to bounce in a couple of different directions. And Flutie pulled it off with great precision. Really did. It's pretty cool to watch. The drop kick remains a legal maneuver in the National Football League, as it is still in the NFL's official rule book under Rule 3, Section 18, Article 1, Item 1, an actual rule in the NFL rule book. And that defines the drop kick as, quote, a kick by a player who drops the ball and kicks it as or immediately after it touches the ground. Is completely allowable. That is completely on the books today, 2022. Flutie's famous drop kick was by no means the last time we've seen this unique maneuver for scoring in football. Michael Dixon, for instance, the punter for the Seattle Seahawks, used the drop kick several times during his rookie year, as recent as 2018, and he attributed using this technique to his upbringing in Australia, of course, where drop kicks are used all the time in sports like rugby, for instance. Okay, the drop kick is only worth 1 point, folks. It has been utilized as a surprise tactic. That's kind of what the essence of using a drop kick was. It's supposed to surprise the other team, right? More of kind of like like of a tactic in that manner. And I can't wait really to see if it's going to be used again in the upcoming playoffs in the Super Bowl. We shall see. All right, folks, let's get this brand new week of a brand new year started. Right here, right now, with a brand new trivia question for January 2nd on this day. In 1974, going back to the good old 70s, that's my era, by the way, President Nixon signs this into law, which was intended to force Americans to be more fuel efficient, thereby curbing the country's appetite for foreign oil, ushering in a policy of fuel conservation and rationing not seen since World War II. Oh yeah, there you go. You guys have a good week and a good year. Let's do it right now. Peace out, folks.